I remember when this yaoi first came out because everybody was so excited that there was going to be a chubby person as a love interest, me included, because I was there when it first dropped and I actually was going to read it, but I wanted to let it marinate. But yesterday I actually ended up reading it and I wanted to make a video about it because lately I've been doing videos just about little twink falling off the bones in the big Dorito buff tops, and I've just been hating left and right. So let's all get happy and actually celebrate that there's going to be some body diversity. So yeah, the name of this manhwa is called Respect for Taste, and there's going to be four main characters we are going to rename. One's going to be Pink, one's going to be named Eyebrows, one's going to be named Friend, and one's going to be named Hater. A little warning, this manhwa does include a lot of mature themes like schmecks. That's pretty much it. So the story starts off with Eyebrows in bed with somebody and they're currently like about to get at it, and the person he's going to bed with is like, why do we need to test our bedroom compatibility if we're going to be in a relationship? Like, why can't we just be in the relationship? And then when they start getting more into it, Eyebrows is like, this is why, because this is bad and I can't be in a relationship with somebody if it's bad. So the person he's in bed with gets offended by this and smacks Eyebrow like really hard, like he has a whole imprint on the side of his face. And when Eyebrow goes to school tomorrow, he still has the imprint on his face. Even his friend notices that he has a smack on his face, and his friend is like, really, bruh, again, why do you keep coming to school with hit marks on your face? But his friend already knows why, to be honest. And Eyebrow gives him a lame excuse about the little compatibility, how he needs to be in sync with somebody in bed before he can date them, or some dumb excuse like that. Like, while this is happening, our other character, Pink, is coming into the classroom, but his head hits the door frame, and Pink already has a hoodie over his head and his bangs are over his eyes, and he is huge. And when I mean huge, maybe like 6'7", I'm sorry, maybe like 6'2", maybe 6'3". And since Pink has his hair over his face and his hoodie basically covering over his whole face, he does not see where he's going, and he bumps into these ladies. And the lady drops a wallet and he helps the lady and he picks it up and gives it to her, but she's like low-key scared of him because how big he is. And so when Pink goes into the classroom, everybody else starts making fun of him, calling him names like pig, bear, pathetic loser, and this literally does not bother him. He goes to his seat and he sits down like nothing happens. But I guess this caught Eyebrow's eye because Eyebrow just starts thinking to himself, if he's this big, why is he letting people talk to him like this? Like, he could easily beat everybody up in here. So Eyebrow turns around to look at Pink and give him a good look, but Pink's already looking at Eyebrow. And I guess I don't know why, but Eyebrow like low-key gets offended and makes like a weird face and is like, why is he looking at me? He shouldn't be looking at me, like this is creepy. Mind you, he's in a public area. But Eyebrow does talk about how he always catches Pink staring at him, but then he also calls him a pig. And I quote, he literally says, that pig bastard clearly has interest in me because he's looking at you. Okay, buddy, you have a little too much dip on your chip. So Eyebrow's fed up with all the staring that Pink is doing. So he decides that after class, he's going to confront Pink about all this staring he's doing because apparently the staring is just bothering Eyebrow so much. So that's exactly what he does. After class, he walks up to Pink and he's like, what are you staring at me for? This is getting weird. This is not the first time I caught you staring at me. Meanwhile, Pink is just so flustered that Eyebrow's even talking to him. So Eyebrow is mad that Pink isn't really paying attention to what he's saying. So he takes matters into his own hands and he knocks Pink's hoodie off of his face and moves his bangs because he thinks he should know what the person who keeps staring at looks like. And to his attention, he thinks that Pink's face is his ideal type, and he's actually very surprised how cute Pink actually looks. And then he grabs Pink by the collar and says that if he lost weight, he would look so much better. And then he tells Pink that if he loses weight, his award will basically be schmecks with Eyebrow. And then he tells Pink that if he loses weight and the schmecks is good, that he would date him because he only cares about the compatibility in bed before dating somebody. And Pink, being as gullible as he is, and he already has a crush on Eyebrow, so he kind of sees this as an opportunity to get close to Eyebrow too. He agrees. So basically now, Eyebrow will be the trainer of Pink. Eyebrow is trying to get Pink skinny, and Pink just wants to be with Eyebrow. Eyebrow kind of sees this as like a little investment, which is like weird to say about a real person, but yeah. So Eyebrow gets Pink a gym membership, but on the first day, Eyebrow tried to make Pink get on the treadmill, but the treadmill unfortunately broke, so they started off more slower and they started off with running outside. Now they still use the gym membership, they only use the gym membership for like lifting weights and stuff that obviously is way more harder to break. So one day when Eyebrow's helping Pink in the gym with lifting weights, Eyebrow is sitting behind Pink, so Eyebrow's front is on Pink's back. I guess this gets like Pink a little too excited. Literally, Pink gets embarrassed and runs off to the bathroom. Now Eyebrow does notice this, and he notices that Pink is literally huge everywhere. more. So then they show when Pink gets home, and his name Pink is like so fitting because his room is so pink and cutesy. He has a whole bunch of dolls everywhere. He even has a pet ferret who's also very cutesy, and she has like blush, and his room is just so cute. His clothes has little bears on it, and we can just see that he's a gentle guy. And then there's like a little montage of where Pink starts second guessing himself, like what would happen if he actually did not lose weight? Would him and Eyebrow not be able to get together and stuff like that? And then they do like a little time skip where Pink loses 5 kg, which is about like 11 pounds. So when they go to the gym and meet up again, Pink wants praise from Eyebrows because they did say that his reward would be Smex, but he's also going to be getting rewards after every achievement he gets. So he wants praise. And then they show a flashback of before they even met and came up with the challenge, how Eyebrow would always notice that Pink would be following him and staring at him and like Loki being creepy about it. So I kind of get what Eyebrow meant in the beginning about him staring at him because it's like really creepy. But now that Eyebrow actually knows Pink and gets that he's big, gentle, giant, and a cutie, seeing him ask for praise, he's like strangely finding him attractive now. And for Pink's reward, Eyebrow gives him a little head pat. But I guess Pink gets a little bit too in the moment because then he asks for a kiss. And I think he meant on the lips, but he got embarrassed and then tries to say like a kiss on the cheek. But Eyebrow says later, and I feel like Loki didn't even want to have like physical contact with Pink unless he gets skinny because the way he was acting was just so uptight and weird. But while Pink is working out, Eyebrow is watching him from the side and he's on his phone texting his friend, and the friend and Eyebrow are talking about Pink, and the friend asks like who's going to be on the top, who's going to be on the bottom. And Eyebrow's like, of course it's gonna be, I'm gonna be the one on the top and he's gonna be on the bottom. Spoiler warning, he's the bottom. So while Eyebrow is on the phone texting his friend, Pink is sitting there working out and he notices a group of girls come up to Eyebrow and start like flirting with him, and this makes Pink really jealous. But then Pink's like, we're not even dating, so I have no right to be jealous, and then he leaves it at that. After everybody leaves Eyebrow alone later, after Pink's done when his workout, he's like, remember that kiss you said you was gonna give me later? And Eyebrow's like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. And so he gives him a kiss on the cheek, and then Eyebrow says Pink kisses like mochi. Okay, like he's low-key getting into it, but like he's not fully there yet. But Pink gets a little too excited by this kiss and then puts Eyebrow like underneath him, like kind of pinning him against like the workout equipment. And Pink tries to kiss Eyebrows and Eyebrows calls him out and is like, what are you doing? So Pink freaks out and is like, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. When Pink gets home, he's like still thinking about the almost kiss he had with Eyebrow, realizing that this is not enough. He like low-key wants to get more freakier with Eyebrow. And then I'm not sure how far they do another time skip, but they do another time skip and Eyebrow and Pink are at the movies. I'm pretty sure this is like an award for Pink. And we can clearly see how different people are reacting to Pink. Everybody at first in the beginning was so scared and like bullying Pink, but now in the background everybody's blushing and it's like, is he a model and stuff like that. The normal switch up when somebody loses weight. So now the issue with Pink is he's not even worried about the weight thing anymore because he lost weight. Now he's worried Eyebrow won't like him because all of the cutesy stuff he likes, like knitting, the color pink, bears, he has a cute parrot, and stuff like that. Now he's just second guessing about his personality, less about his appearance. And during the movies, Eyebrows keep complimenting him, saying like he's so attractive, he's so handsome now. Like he's switched up too. And after the movies, Pink and Eyebrow go out to drink, and while Pink is getting more drunk, he confesses to Eyebrow and he's saying like, even though I lost all this weight, it's weird now getting all of this attention, and he's like very embarrassed that he's getting all this attention. And Eyebrow finds this so cute, so Eyebrow booked a hotel for him and Pink is now nervous because he remembered that Eyebrow said if the compatibility is not good that they would not be able to date, and now he's like, okay, what if this is bad? What if I'm bad at this? Because Pink has never done anything like this before. And when they get into the room, they start kissing, they start getting into it, and then Pink is getting so overwhelmed. He's like, stop, I don't think I can do this. And Eyebrow, of course, is very mad because like this is the whole point of the whole entire investment, to see if they were good together. So Eyebrow was like, okay, fine, this time we can stop, but next time I'm not letting you go. Weird thing to say, but okay. So I guess one time when Eyebrow goes out with his friend, he goes drinking and he's like complaining about how they didn't even go that far. But then Eyebrow tells his friend that Pink looked so pretty when he was crying that he forgot why he was mad, so he let him go and they didn't do anything. And when Pink returned back to school, as we would guess, everybody switched up on him. Everybody's complimenting him. Everybody's moving out his way, saying he's so cute. But the same person that was calling him pig and bear earlier, aka hater, he's still hating on Pink. If anything, he's still saying Pink is still a baby because of the things he wears and the way he acts. And since Eyebrow sees that Pink is still getting made fun of from that same person, he sticks up for him and tries to confront the hater. But Pink tells him it's okay, you can stop, like I'm used to this. And then He doesn't. He sits down in the chair like he's supposed to. So now when Pink and Eyebrow go to the gym, all the attention is on Pink because how good he looks after he lost weight, and all the girls are going up to Pink, and now Eyebrow is the one that's jealous. So Eyebrow goes up to Pink and is like, okay, today we're actually going to do it, and you won't get off even by crying. So when they try to get freaky again, Eyebrow notices how Pink is looking very nervous, so Eyebrow agrees that he would be the bottom. Then Pink says that that's not even the issue why he looks so nervous. He's nervous because he still wants to get to know Eyebrow a little bit more, but Eyebrow gets very, very mad at this, and he's like, I told you my intentions from the beginning was just to have schmecks until we start dating, so why are you acting like this literally wasn't my whole entire plan? And that Pink should have refused from the start if he wanted something more from him. And when Eyebrow gets home, he's like feeling very bad that he said that to Pink. He's like, and I know right now Pink's probably crying because that's how soft he is. And plot twist, he was crying. And Eyebrow's wondering why does he even care about Pink like that. But when they go back to school, Pink wants to apologize to Eyebrow, and Eyebrow doesn't even spare Pink a glance. And now Pink is tweaking out. And I just think that's so petty. Like, you're mad at somebody because he wasn't ready to have Smegs. I get that you already told him your intentions, but like, if he's scared, he's scared. Eyebrow only starts to notice Pink when a group of girls come up to Pink and is like, do you want to go out with us for lunch? Pink really doesn't want to go. He wants to go talk to Eyebrow and figure out what's wrong, but he ends up going because Eyebrow is being too nonchalant about the whole thing. Then at school, Pink, Eyebrow's Hater, and friend all get paired in a school project, and Eyebrow is like low-key rage baiting Hater the whole entire time, and this leads them to get physical, and they start like putting their hands on each other and start like roughing each other up, and I guess this causes the table to shake and to knock over Pink's bag, and a lot of his cutesy stuff comes out of the bag, like the knitting stuff, a lot of Pink stuff, a lot of dolls, and Hater takes this as an opportunity to start hating on Pink and start calling him childish and stuff like that. And you already know his man, Eyebrow, comes to his defense. And he's like, what's wrong with knitting? What's wrong with all this? You're just being a hater. And Pink is like, it's looking up for Pink. He was just worried about if Eyebrow would like him because all the cute stuff that he's in. He just defended him. Okay, guys, and my microphone just broke, so I know the audio is going to be really bad, so I'm going to put captions on here. But anyways, Hater keeps trying to start fights with Eyebrow, and Pink has enough. And Pink is obviously bigger than everybody still. Like, he's still taller than everybody. So he stops the fight and he throws Hater off of Eyebrow, and it's like, do not mess with him. And Eyebrow is like very intrigued by this and likes that his man is standing up for him. So after, Eyebrow takes Pink to the bakery, but then like literally after that they go get freaky at Pink's apartment. And Eyebrow really isn't taking in his like surroundings and what's going on around him. They stop kissing, and then he's like, oh my gosh, your apartment is so cutesy. Well, he's not like happy about it, but he just like notices that he has a lot of cutesy stuff. But that literally does not stop them from getting freaky. They literally get freaky. And let me tell you right now, they're compatible in bed. Really compatible. So after they're done doing the deed, apparently it's just so good because Eyebrow asks Pink, do they want to start dating? And like Pink starts freaking out. Like, he's been waiting this moment this whole entire time. He literally lost weight for this guy. And Pink tells Eyebrow that his friend is coming over to bring over his phone that he dropped during the little argument and little rumble fight they had earlier with Hater. So when Eyebrow's friend appears at Pink's apartment, everything is going nice. Like, he doesn't suspect anything between them until Pink's parrot literally spills all the tea and starts imitating all the noises and words they were saying when they were getting freaky yesterday. Yeah. So anyways, they confirmed the relationship and now they're actually dating, and that's pretty much where the story leaves off. Like, overall, I would say that this is a very interesting manhwa, even though I feel like Eyebrow is very like rude and doesn't deserve Pink. But let me know what you guys think, because I'm interested and the story is still ongoing, so maybe we could do a part 2 when it has like 20 more chapters.